Do you want to avoid costly oil leaks and oil consumption issues with your car? Well, then let's talk about this little part called the PCV valve. It's known as positive crankcase ventilation. Some models, some makes call it a crankcase ventilation valve. Now, what this does is it redirects waste gases that are created during combustion while your engine's running. It runs them back into the intake manifold so they can be reburned. It's a part of an emission system. Older engines, older equipment, they use something called a breather. Helps the engine breathe in the crankcase so that way that airflow can get in and you can remove those waste gases. That's what this does. Now, why that's important is that if this fails, it can either plug up or it can fail opened or it can fail closed. Now, either way, it can either contribute to burning oil, meaning the engine oil in your crankcase gets pushed into the combustion chamber, or it pulls it into the intake manifold and burns it. It's not good because it's slowly draining the oil in your car's engine. If it gets plugged up and it cannot breathe, it will find the weakest area to push this air out of there, and it can usually blow a seal out, sometimes a valve cover, timing cover, or like a rear main seal. It can be very expensive to replace, very costly, or worse, if your engine consumes too much oil and you don't know, your engine can blow up and get destroyed, and that is a very, very expensive situation to be in. So this little part can cause so much drama, and it's not expensive. They're quite inexpensive to replace, and they're not really hard to replace. Some models, they can be a bit difficult to get to, but these two right here, one of them is off of a Mitsubishi Lancer, a 2.4 cylinder, and then the other one is off a Kia Sportage that had a 2.4 cylinder. And you can look at some of them. They're kind of dirty. If you take one off, you can shake it. When it rattles, that's kind of lets you know that it's good. Now, some of the symptoms you get when these fail is you will get like rough idling. You might get a whistle noise, like an indication of a vacuum leak. You'll also get oil consumption, and like I said, you'll get oil leaks. Now, I've never really had these fail to the point that I had rough idling. I always seem to either get a oil consumption issue, and in my opinion, it's best to recommend it just to replace these every once in a while. And by once in a while, I mean between 20,000 and 50,000 miles. Depends on your car. If it's a model with an engine that's known to consume oil, I would be more concerned about replacing this often. Again, just thought I'd remind you about your PCV valves. They're important to replace. Just a quick preventative maintenance item to keep on top of, and they're relatively cheap.